Hello and welcome to episode 3 of the Catching Up podcast with Ananya and Katrina, two college friends who are doing their best to keep catching up while pursuing their goals and dreams.
We're both women in our early 20s, and now that we are out of college, we get to completely determine what the rest of our lives look like.
However, this can be intimidating, and society has a lot to say about what we should do, so today we're going to talk about it. Before we get started, Ananya is going to start us off with a quote from Ikigai by Hector Garcia and Francisco Morales.
Our ikigai is different for all of us, but one thing we have in common is that we're all searching for meaning.
So before we get into it, I think it's important that we both share kind of what success has meant for us growing up and how we were raised to think about it as women. And so Ananya, could you share a little bit about what success means to you and how you were raised affects that?
Upbringing, I feel like that's a very tricky subject, but for me, I think two most important parts for my upbringing was my family and the culture coming from India. I think India is really culturally oriented and a collective society, and that has impacted my upbringing in a lot of different ways, and also how I define success. And why am I so competitive? It goes back to being raised in a society where success comes in like specific measures. If you are not above that 90% score, you're not successful. So it's like that you can see success in like really, really specific terms. And so I've always been so driven by results. Like I need to have results. And if something's not showing, something's not evident, then I don't think there's any success. And that's why I feel like I don't even count small things as success. Like it needs to be big always.
Yeah.
So that's the society part. My parents and my family helps me kind of mellow it down, and they kind of help me see that there are more sides to a successful life and non-materialistic elements of having a good relationship and having this safety net of people around you that you can love, care, who make you happy. That's success too. My parents have been there for me through all the ups and downs, and no matter what happens, they just show up for me, stand up for me, and they're always there. And I feel like that has helped me take on challenges since early on in my life. And so I feel like for me, success, if it comes to society, it's like very measurable and very evidently seen. But my parents and my family helps me mellow it down, and they always give a non-materialistic meaning to it.
Yeah, that's good.
What are some early influences on you? Parents, mentors, culture, media?
I think there is a big combination. I grew up in an Asian household, and so like excellence is important. But I also had a stay-at-home mom, and like the whole family valued her ability to do that, and didn't really like look down on it or anything. And so I had a combination of like valuing excellence and also valuing family. And I think growing up, especially like growing up as a woman or girl at the time that I did, I think there was a big push to be successful and have a career. And so I feel like that was the society part. And then there was also the like idea that you can do everything. And so I think success for me has been a combination of all of that. But some of it I have like, I want to go back and rethink a little bit, but that's what has kind of shaped it growing up.
Very interesting. Can I ask you what exactly you mean when you talk about success in terms of family and relationship? Because we understand the income and career goals, but what does it mean when it comes to being valued as a family member? What does that look like?
I think for me in particular, success in a family would be like the ability to have family and have kids and raise them well and to also be present for them. I feel like one of the things that has come with women like being at work more is that a lot of parents just like aren't present with their kids anymore. And some of that is out of necessity, like it's kind of become a luxury to be a stay-at-home parent, but I think the ability to be present with your kids is important.
Do you feel the tension between you have time and you should already have it figured out?
Yeah, I feel like for both of us, we're in our early 20s. And I feel like now that we've graduated college, we feel a little old. But then you like look at you like talk to somebody who's older than you, or you look at people who are like in their 30s or 40s, and you're like, wait. Like I'm not as old as I think I am. But I feel like now that we've graduated and we like had a period where we were like trying to figure out what we're doing next,
Yeah.
we like feel like we have to have everything together and we feel like we're behind and we're like not doing
Yeah.
enough.
You know what? I wanna re-ask the same question in two parts. First, do you think you have time?
Logically, yes. Do I feel like I do? No.
That's a
What
good
about you?
answer. Do I have time? I do feel I have more time, but sometimes it's like clock's ticking. Anyway, another
Yeah.
part. Do you have it all figured out?
No. Like I
Good.
have plans, but I know nothing, at least for me, like nothing has ever really gone 100% according to plan. And I also want to give like my future self the opportunity to change plans if I decide they need to be changed or I realize that something I thought I wanted I don't want anymore. So I do have a plan, but I don't have it figured out. Do you have it figured out?
Not at all. Not even my single day. I don't have anything figured out. And I feel like because I feel like I have a lot of time, I don't have it figured out. But then the society kicks in,
Yeah.
and and then it feels like we don't have enough time, and you need to with your career you need to like have a stable job, and you got to also be doing things that you love even in your work life, and then at the same time you need to have a partner and you need to have a family, and you need to be there for all of your friends, you need to be there for your parents, your brother, sister, siblings. You just got to be there for everything. You got to have it all figured out, and you don't have enough time because there's a timeline. And I feel like
Hmm.
that's how society thinks, but reality is so different because we have time,
Yes and
yes.
no. We have more time than we think we do, and also less time than we think we do, I think.
I agree, but like, what is this pressure of like, you should have it figured out? No, the economics of the world is changing and I cannot have it figured
Yeah.
out because every day there's something changing. Like, how do
Yeah.
I have a constant plan when the world around me is just constantly changing? What does career success look like for you? And if you have ambitions and goals, how do you want to prioritize your home life if you want to at all?
That's a good question. For me, career success is kind of like a means to an end. Like, I want a career or like a business so that I can have freedom of time, freedom of location. And I think the career itself is not the goal. Like, the products of the career are the goal. And I think that's the case for a lot of people. And then I feel like growing up, we were kind of told, or just like maybe not told, but it just was kind of implied that just because you want a family and family is a definition, part of your definition of success, that means that you can't be ambitious and that you like can't have like big career goals or like other kinds of ambitions in your life. And I think that's not the right way to look at it. Like, I think that having a family and like being a good parent is a good ambition and can be a definite ambition.
That's a good answer. It's interesting because I feel like in India things are changing so much, and like especially girls my age, we have been told to have a really good career and be independent and have those ambitions for our career so that we can change the world because women are changing the world. And at the same time, the society is so dependent on women, like for families.
Mm-hmm.
Like they are basically the thread holding the home together, the families together. And so, like, you need to be winning at home too and winning at career too. And so, that has been my mindset always, which can be really toxic for myself sometimes. But is there a balance? I try to strike it. I don't know how it would look like when it comes to motherhood, but right now my goals and my family is my parents, and when I do or when I look at my career, it's about thinking about how they have invested in my education, the world they're gonna see when I would be this successful person and things I'm
Hmm.
gonna do for them. And I feel like that somehow drives my career goals. And I'm just super ambitious about my career because it's coming from family, but right now it's like for my parents, I want to do things for my parents. My mom's a homemaker, and I've seen her just put so much online so she can be there for my sister and I. And she has just put so much online. She has sacrificed so many of her goals and ambitions. Do you think if you prioritize home life, your it would ask you for the similar sacrifices?
Yes and no. Like, I think it's more of, like, yes, they are sacrifices, but I think it's also a trade off. Like, which sacrifices are you willing to make? Because for me, I also see, like, I see that part, but I also see, like, if I prioritize a career and I, like, try to climb the corporate ladder or something, like, I'm going to be sacrificing, like, my future family and, like, my ability to, like, have kids and have grandkids and, like, be present as I want to be for them. And so I see sacrifice, like, both ways, and it's just, like, picking which sacrifice you want to give.
That's interesting because I want to climb the career ladder and I still think I can be there for my family without sacrificing anything. I can balance it both. Of course, time would tell. But I feel like our society is evolving, but it has not evolved enough to support the balance. But I feel like if you decide that you want to have a balance, you want to prioritize both, it is possible. And so, literally, that's what I'm thinking. I'd be able to balance it both. And I want to climb the career ladder and I want to go as far as I can. Why do you
Okay.
think you'll have to sacrifice to climb the career ladder?
I look at one, like the managers at the companies I've been at, and none of them only work 8 hours a day. They all work overtime.
Hmm.
Also, like working 8 hours a day and being in like a basically like an entry level job right now, I also see like how little time I have to like care for myself. And so I right now, like based on just like time wise, I don't know how I would be able to do this career and do it well and like be super ambitious and put all my energy into it while also having a family and having kids and being like present for them when I'm there. Cause like when I have like something going on at work or something that I'm working on, like that's what I think about. And so it's just like really hard for me to kind of like turn that off, I think.
That's interesting. Striking a balance is hard, but what if we don't have to balance it? What if we can push the home life for a little bit and focus on the career? And once we feel stable and we know that we can build our nest on the top branch of the tree, how
I
about
think
waiting until then?
I think that like for me that's the plan, like is to have because my career goals are kind of based around like wanting to be a stay-at-home mom eventually and like making sure that that is an option for me no matter who I end up marrying. And so like my goal right now is to do super well in a career or in a business. And then that will buy me the time to be able to be there for my family.
So when you say super well in your career, does that not mean climbing up the ladder?
I think eventually it's going to have to be some kind of business because I don't think climbing the corporate ladder, is as reliable and as secure as it used to be. I think everyone has been experiencing it lately where they're realizing that the amount of time that you have to put in and the energy and all the things that you have to do that could take away from the other things in your life may no longer be worth the salary that they're willing to pay for it.
But I feel like for business too, for a successful business, you need to put in a lot more time and sometimes a lot more than what you work in a job. And so it would take a lot of you too and might ask for sacrifices where you have to focus on a business if you want it to be successful. It would take a lot of resources and experience too to know like what is the right area of business or how to operate it well. So don't you think climbing up the ladder would be that experience that your successful business requires?
I think that being in the corporate world for a little while is important because it'll kind of teach me what I need to know about running a business. But I think that like long term, it's still money, like the career is still money for time. And my goal is to buy time and to have freedom of time rather than like the nice things and things like that. For you, what does career success look like? Is it like climbing a ladder? Is it a business? Can you share more about that?
For me, career success is something that I have still not figured out. Do I want to have my own business? Yes, but I want it to be pretty damn successful and really, really big. And I like when people hear my name, they should know that's her business. That's what she has built. And I was talking to my father recently about it, and right after college, I just wanted to start my business and just get started. And then he was really against it, and he was like, Ananya, it's not that easy. You need resources, you need capital, you need experience, you need to know how to deal with people, which I agree I'm not good enough yet for. So I think for me right now, success is having a stable job, staying at a company, growing up the ladder, experiencing all the different kinds of roles and responsibilities. And while doing that, also figuring out what is a good business plan, being mindful of all of those things that I want to do while working and having a stable income is really important for me.
Yeah, I agree the stable income is important. I feel like as women, it's just like so much harder to take the same risks that you see a lot of like these male entrepreneurs taking where they like live in their gym or they like are homeless and have $12 in their bank account. Like I don't think either of us would ever let ourselves get to that point
I
just
don't think
because we're
I
like
would
more
be
risk
able to
averse
risk
than that.
that. I feel like women are more risk averse for sure, or I am. I don't want to speak for everyone, but you and I, we for sure are, and I'm not okay with having $12 in my bank account. So I would build a business, but I would want to have a stable income on the side.
And I think that is like I feel like a lot of the stories that we see right now of entrepreneurs and business owners are like they quit their job and in a couple months
Yeah,
they like had a giant
yeah,
business. And I
yeah.
feel like for us and maybe for a lot of women it might need to be kind of like a slower grind
Yeah,
or a
and I
more
also
balanced
feel
grind.
like I almost feel like not every idea is worth that risk. Like you need to have that confidence, like you know if it's going to work out or not. And if you know it is a pretty solid idea, maybe I'll be able to do it. Maybe I'll be down to have $12 in my bank account, but I don't think every idea is worth it. And that's what I'm waiting for, that one idea where I'm 100% sure, yes, this is the business plan. Like, this is the business
Yeah.
idea. And until I have it, I would want to keep growing up in the career ladder because that brings me more capital.
Yeah, and I think both of us like in college and now that we're working have kind of tried a lot of different things and so I think that's
Yeah.
a good way to kind of like dip your toes in like some of the different things that you could do
Yeah.
versus just like picking one thing and going all in and realizing you hate it.
Yeah. Do you think women who only want to be stay at home and not have any career at all, they don't have any ambitions or they're not successful, or what are your thoughts on that? Just being a stay at home and not even looking at the career ladder.
I don't think that's true. I feel like there are different groups in society that like have opinions on what women should do and that there's groups that think like being a stay-at-home mom is like not contributing anything and then there's groups that think like oh you shouldn't have a career you should just be a stay-at-home mom and I think both of them are wrong.
Yeah, I agree.
I feel like one thing I've noticed in myself is that growing up we like heard a lot about feminism and how women before us, a lot of them didn't even get the opportunity to like choose to work. And I think the way I kind of interpreted it growing up was like, oh, I have to work because women had before me didn't get that opportunity, and so now I have to have like make the most of that
Yeah.
opportunity to like make up for like the things that they didn't get. I've been realizing like the older I get, like the whole point is like you get the choice to do what you want
I completely
and you
agree.
should
I
be able
feel
to
like,
make the choice that you want. Yeah.
yeah,
Versus like,
yeah.
yeah. Like I feel
I
guilty that women before
don't
me
even
didn't
have
get the
anything
choice.
to, I don't even have anything to add to it. So well said. I think feminism is about having the choice to pursue whatever you want. And if it's taking care of people you love, yes. And there are different ways to do it, and there are different ways to contribute to that love. And some people like to go out and work and make a living so that they can contribute financially. And there are some people who like to contribute through their time. And
Mhm.
it all comes down to the choice. And my mom was stay at home, and I am just so grateful for her time and everything she has done and how she has been there for me. And I feel like it's such a blessing and such a privilege. But also, like
Mhm.
women out there trying to have a career, trying to change the world, trying to run the world, I think we are all equally important and equally needed.
I agree. And I think like nuance in that is always important. Because like we're not, most of us are not going to choose one or the other. Like we're all going to have a little bit of each.
So, if it's a choice, what about women who are trying to have it all? And what are the fears, some like burnout versus missing out on motherhood? And are we missing out because of all of this pressure?
That's a good question. From the women that I have seen who do both, who like have a career and have kids, I feel like sometimes they feel like, oh, I'm not being a good enough businesswoman or good enough in my career. And then at the same time, they feel like they're not being a good enough parent. And
Yeah.
something that I think my mom and my grandmother have both told me is that you can do everything, you just can't do it all at once.
Yeah.
And I think that's really important, not even for like career versus family, but also just for like where we are in our lives. Like we can do our career and we can like focus on a couple other things. We can't like do the career and like do a bunch of business ideas and run a marathon. Like you can't do everything at
Yeah.
once, but you have to like prioritize what's important now and like know what is coming in the future and like what's important for you in the future and like figure out how to set up your timeline and your plan based off of those priorities and when they need to happen.
I agree. And I feel like for people trying to strike a balance and have it all, I feel like you can have it all, but it would always come with that burnout and that missing out feeling.
And I think having self awareness about yourself is really important because if you know you're a person who gets burned out really easily, like maybe doing it all at once is not for you. And like for me, I can tend to get burned out like pretty easy. But like if you know that you are good at like handling a bunch of things, like in school you did all the clubs and you did all like the classes and got good grades and were super like if you do everything and you're like good at doing everything and you get a lot of like stimulation and like what's the word I'm looking for? And you get a lot of like intellectual stimulation fulfillment from doing everything at once, then I feel like that's a good mix to be able to do
Yeah.
everything. But if you're the kind
Yeah.
of person like me that like whenever I have too many commitments going on and I like freak out, I know I can't do everything at once.
Yeah. For me, my women in my household have mostly been stay at home and not that ambitious about their careers. And so I want to have it all and I want to see how it looks like for sure. And I'm going to go through burnout and I'm going to go through this. Am I missing out? Am I just not good enough anywhere? And I know there are drawbacks for it, but I feel like I want to see it all. I feel like career is something that I'm going to have for myself. It's my thing, my contribution to myself and my
Mm-hmm.
parents and their investment in me. But then I'm going to see what family looks like when the time comes. But it's definitely a pushed timeline for. Based on society,
Yeah,
it's definitely I'm gonna push the timeline so much more. And we'll see when time comes, and maybe we'll speak more about it. We need to do another podcast 10 years
yeah,
later
you'll
and
be
see what we
Nancy
think
and
about
Anya.
it then.
I think it's important that like we talk about this because we both have different timelines that we want things on. And I think it's important that people remember that you're like pick the timeline that's right for you. Like just
Yeah.
because somebody else has a different timeline doesn't mean that like yours is not as good of a plan or like yours is less valuable or something.
And this, like, almost, it just hit me that it was never how we started, like, talking about this podcast. The topic was like, we have different career paths and we have different choices that we're going to make, but it's not the career path and choices, it's the timeline that's different.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like for most women, we tend to do a little bit of both. Even if like you don't have kids or something, you might still have a partner or your siblings, your family, your cousins, things like that. And so I think that there's always some elements of both. And yeah, like you said, like the timeline is between us, like the timeline is the difference.
Do you think your career goals give you more time for yourself? But if you choose that family life, it just takes away your career goals and yourself away from you.
For me, the family is the end goal. Like I don't see family as like something that I have to accommodate for instead of like the family is the goal. It's not the thing I need to accommodate for. And like the career goals are based off of that like larger goal at the end. And so for me, it's not like, oh, family is going to take away from career because career is like
For
there with
family.
the intention of eventually having a family. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
But do you feel that way? Do you feel like eventually your family would take away from your career?
I feel like, yes, I really feel guilty thinking about the family, the future family right now. But I don't think I would always live in that guilt. But it's like I'm really young right now, and I really think career should be my priority so that I can have like a good life.
I agree. I would say
Yeah.
like the timeline, like you mentioned earlier, is really
I think
important
it's the
because like
timeline.
if we were to like have kids right now, I feel like that would really like for me, part of my family goals are like how I want to have a family and like when I want to have the family and like the resources
Yeah.
I want to have by the time I do. And like if I were to like have a kid right now, like
I
that
think
would
you
mess up my
totally,
career goals and it would mess up my family goals. Like
I feel like I need more time, and that's why, and that more time basically focusing on careers, buying that more time. Oh, I'm focusing on my career, but it's like buying more time to feel more mature, to feel to be able to provide. And maybe that's what's different, or maybe it's not, but I definitely want to provide. I
and for
don't want to be
you,
provided for.
you want to be the word winner. Yeah, that's very you.
And
um,
I don't
I,
want to be, I feel like it needs to be a partnership for it. Just the pressure shouldn't be on one person. I just not in favor of it. Like everyone should contribute equally to parenting, to resources, finances, and we should share it. And that's what my thought is. Like I want to be able to provide. I want to be able to do it all and have it all. And it's very stressful.
and it is also stressful because neither of us have like met who we're gonna have a family with, and so like I feel like the idea that we both have right now is like it's 100% like everything is on us when that's like not
Yeah.
going to be the
And then
case when we actually
how do you
do have a family.
how do you even how do you base your career goals based on the future family when you don't even know your future family?
Right now I am mostly just like controlling for variables that I can't control, like if that makes sense. Like
She studied
I want to
economics.
have, yes, I want to have like a business or something where I can have like enough income and enough time and like freedom of location because one, because those are things that I want, like I want all that freedom, but I also that also like gives me the security that like no matter who I end up marrying and what their career is and like if they're in an industry or a job that pays a lot, like I know that there is still going to be security there no matter like who's providing it.
Then what are you basing? Like what are the career decisions that you're basing off future family? Because I'm literally doing the same thing and without even like I'm flexible with geography or whatever, and it's not even dependent on anyone. It's just because that's how things are because I have nothing figured out. So how what decisions are you basing off that future family?
For me, it would be the decision to eventually have a business. Because like right
Mm.
now, for like if I have a career like in a company and just like climb the corporate ladder, like if I marry somebody who is also doing that, there's a good
Mm.
possibility that like we won't have the income to be for one of us to be a stay-at-home parent. Because
Mm.
like I feel like when we were growing up, it might have been easier for one parent to like financially provide for a family. But I feel like now it's just like becoming a lot harder to be a family on a single income.
Yeah, I want to have my business, but it's just because I feel success almost relatable to fame, and I want to be
Yeah, you want to be famous?
famous as like she's the one who built that business.
Fame would be fun. Share this podcast, make us famous.
Everyone, please listen to this podcast and share it and make us famous.
Yeah, make Ananya famous. I don't really want to be famous.
Oh, she is
We'll get
getting
you
famous
famous.
with me. No, so you can get famous, and that's how you have revenue for your business because then everyone knows about your
Yeah, that's
business
true.
too, and they
Yeah,
want to be famous too. I want to
yeah,
be famous because I want to make money, and people are gonna buy from me if they know me, whatever
yeah,
services or products I sell. And honestly, I want to travel the world. I just want to travel the world, and I need so much money so I can go live in Portugal or Barcelona with Katrina.
yeah,
And go to Ireland too. I want to go to Ireland
yeah,
because of
yeah.
your
I'll
how much you've
You
hyped
provide the
Ireland.
funds, and I will plan the trip.
My God. Yes, yes. Well, it was a good conversation, but we're gonna end this episode here. But this is not really the end because our episode 4 is gonna be part 2 of the same conversation.
This has been the Catching Up podcast with Ananya and Katrina. Thanks for catching up with us, and we're hoping to catch up with you in the same conversation next week.